Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. Hey, real quick, just want to do a quick reaction video to the Detroit Pistons preseason opener last night against the New York Knicks. That was very disappointing to watch. All I can say is, wow, we wasn't expecting that. We were expecting a lot better than what we got out there. And that debacle was pitiful. It was pitiful. All these changes that we were making, all these deals and transactions. We were saying Troy Weaver was super this off season with these acquisitions and whatnot, but to come out flat, unenergetic as this team came out last night is unacceptable, and it all has to fall up on Dwayne Casey's shoulders. You shouldn't look like you're on the second night of a back-to-back when you're in your first preseason game. You had all summer to prepare. You had the summer league. You had training camp. And for these guys to come out looking unprepared and uninterested is unacceptable. That's unacceptable. Us Detroit Pistons fans deserve better. We've got several YouTubers that were hyped over the season, got us hyped over the season, kept us interested in the off season. And this is what we get. This is what we get here. I remember back in high school, back in Detroit, Detroit East Catholic, we had Dave Souls and Jack Gentry as our coaches, and I can remember those Saturday mornings after a game like this. You might as well put your track shoes on because that's all you're doing is running. I know there were a few instances where we never even touched the basketball after a game like that. We didn't have many like that, but we came out and we were disinterested or unenergetic. We knew what was coming the next day after we got our butts handed to us. And, hopefully Dwayne Casey isn't content with what he saw out there last night and, puts this team through something to, kind of let them know to take this serious here. But last night was just a joke. It was just a joke. And we had some players that shined out there. I want to give Bogdanovich, Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren. They did. They impressed me last night with what they brought. But our superstars didn't. I don't know. They had me second guessing them. So gotta do something here. Gotta do something here. And I can almost hear the same. I don't want to say the same. I don't want to hear. It's not that I can hear the same rumors, but basically going back to Blake Griffin ripping his jersey off. And if that's the attitude that these players are going to have because you got them in a screwed up situation with the head coach who doesn't know how to adjust his lineups, doesn't play the right rotation. Last night there's no reason for Isaiah Stewart is undersized. I don't care about him shooting threes and whatnot. He's undersized. He should have never been starting. Jalen Duren should have been starting. Had too many turnovers. It just was all unorganized. It's like, wow, like I said, what have we been doing in the off season? What have we been working on in the off season? I know we have a lot of new faces here, but I mean, man, you could go play in a pickup game and pick 4 or 5 guys that you don't even know, and you can all come out in one common goal in mind, and that's to win. And it just didn't seem like it was there last night. Especially one of the most disappointing performances to me was Marvin Bagley III. Didn't take over the game, didn't dominate, let so many rebounds go, and it's got a lot of work to do. Got a lot of work to do. But if this is what we're going to get, or what we're looking forward to, I say let's rip the Band-Aid off now and just get rid of Casey. Let him go. Bring someone fresh in with some fresh ideals and someone the players respect. So yeah, gotta make some moves here. We gotta make some moves here. Gotta do something because that was just sad to watch. Sad to watch. And what the past 3 seasons combined, we're almost at like 70 wins. Some teams win 60 games in the season, and it takes us 3 seasons to get over 60 wins. It's not acceptable. Not acceptable. And it's not like Dwayne Casey didn't have talent at his disposal. We've had a lot of great players that came through under his regime that moved on to bigger and better places. Some even won titles. But it's got to end. This has got to end. So this is just my rant on it, and I'm just based upon last night. If I was Troy Weaver, who, by the way, if you caught his facial expression when the cameras rolled past him, he didn't look happy at all. He looked like heads were going to roll, and he was ready to ship everybody out. So, it's going to be interesting to see what comes. I don't know if they had jitters because he was in the stands or what, but they played as if there was a pending trade going on. I can compare that to one of the Denver Nuggets games that I went to where I want to say it was Timothy Mozgov got traded, and he wasn't there to play that game, and you could tell something was going on with the players that were there playing that night. And lo and behold, the next morning you found out that he was shipped out. So that's a possibility. Maybe there's a big trade coming up. But like I said, I want to give kudos out to Jay Nivey. Wasn't a big fan of the draft pick. I felt we should have taken Jordan Usher out of Georgia Tech. And I also said Jay Nivey should come off the bench to provide spark for the second unit. But after last night, I like what I see with him. And like I said, I know I was kind of harsh on the pick, but after seeing what he did last night, he should be in the starting lineup. He should be starting. Yeah, like I said, we got some players that, based upon last night, I'll move on from. If this is what they're going to give us, or I get rid of them. It's just my opinion, and I know some of you guys are going to agree and some of you guys are going to disagree, but sometimes you got to make these bold moves, and they work out in the long run. So I'm not even going to hesitate with the trade suggestions or trade scenarios that I came up with. So I'm just going to get right down to it. I'm making a deal with the Denver Nuggets if I'm Troy Weaver, and I'm sending Cade Cunningham and Kemba Walker to Denver for Aaron Gordon and Bones Highland. That's a move that I believe works out for both teams. You get a veteran, hard-nosed player in Aaron Gordon, and you get a young player in Bones Highland. Yeah, backcourt with Bones Highland and Jay Nivey would be unstoppable. Like I said, you get a beast in Aaron Gordon who can play with his back to the basket or can penetrate and drive and beat you as well. Also plays great defense. And Denver, just had to throw this in here. Can you imagine the Denver Nuggets team looking like this with Jamal Murray? Your starters being Jamal Murray, Cade Cunningham, Nikola Jokic, Michael Porter Jr., and Jeff Green. You have to have them as one of the front runners for the coming out of the Western Conference with that starting lineup. Not to mention what they have coming off the bench, with Bruce Brown and KCP and some of the other guys. So that's a deal I think will benefit both teams and elevate both teams in the win total. Also, another deal I would make would be involving the Orlando Magic. Like I said, just tear the Band-Aid off and just move on and get this thing going in the right direction. I sent Alec Burks, not big on him, and Corey Joseph, who I don't know why we're holding on to him. It was painful listening to Stan Van Gundy last night talking about Corey Joseph being a veteran that's going to help this team. It's like this guy hasn't won anything anywhere, so why are we holding on to him? We're covered at the point guard and shooting guard position, so we don't need those two guys. So I say send those two to Orlando for Wendell Carter Jr. and Caleb Houston out of University of Michigan. Getting two young guys there, one forward, I believe, and Caleb Houston, and Wendell Carter Jr. You got him as a center to go alongside with Jalen Duren in the paint. And Orlando is an up-and-coming team, and I think those two veterans will help them out. You have an Alec Burks over there with Gary Harris and the rest of that young core that they have over in Orlando. The last trade I propose would be with the Memphis Grizzlies. Didn't like what I saw with Sadiq Bey last night at all. Like I said, him and Cade Cunningham, their body expression and just, I don't know, said something like they didn't want to be here. And Isaiah Stewart, like I said, I mean, always give him kudos for going at it with LeBron James, but it is what it is, and what's got to be done has got to be done. I know he was working on shooting his threes, but we don't need him out there shooting threes. We need somebody in the paint grabbing rebounds, and I know he's a good rebounder. But with the addition of Duren and the addition of Wendell Carter Jr., I think we'll be set at that position. And we'll be bringing in David Roddy, a rookie out of Colorado State, along with Xavier Tillman out of Michigan State University. So you're getting still two pretty much young, two players who are still pretty young, and adding them to the roster. As far as Rodney McGruder, we appreciate it, but I would waive him. And like I say, the jury is still out on Marvin Bagley III. If he doesn't show any promise, I think we need to move him in some kind of deal. I think we can't move him until like late December, early January, but make some kind of deal and move him. And like I've been saying, my target for the Pistons will be Armando Bacot out of North Carolina when he goes into the draft next season. I think that's the missing piece for this team. And that was before that, I don't know what you want to call it, last night against the New York Knicks. So, so anyway, I'm going to get here and get down to a rundown of what I came up with as a conclusion as far as what the roster would look like if I was to play Troy Weaver and make some changes. And also, by the way, I did do a video, and I'll put a link here at the end for you to look at, of a potential trade. This was some time ago with the New York Knicks, involving the New York Knicks and the Detroit Pistons. And several players that whooped our behind last night were in that trade that they could have been Detroit Pistons. So I'll put a link there for you to see what I had proposed at that time. We'd have had Julius Randle, Quickly, and McBride, Toppin, and Fahrenheit as well would have been Detroit Pistons. So, and they brought it to us last night. So make sure you check that out at the end. And I do appreciate you listening to this rant. Just stuff said last night. Just felt we deserved more than that. We waited and waited and waited, and this is what we got. They crapped on us, Pistons fans. But this is what's left over of all the deals they made here. We got Bogdanovic, Nerlens Noel, Jay Nivey, and Kevin Knox III. One thing about Kevin Knox III that kind of ticked me off last night was the fact that we didn't get a chance to see neither him nor Diallo. And we got 3 former Kentucky Wildcats on the roster. And former Kentucky Wildcats do really well in the NBA. You look at DeMarcus Cousins, Devin Booker, Karl Anthony Towns, Rajon Rondo, Boogie Cousins, if I didn't say that already, Trey Lyles. You got a lot of guys that came through Kentucky, and I'm sure I'm missing some. What's his name? The guy Alexander that plays for the Oklahoma City Thunder, or maybe with the Utah Jazz. I'm not sure which one of those teams he's with, but they put out some good players. Even Shaden Sharp, they put out a lot of good players, and teams that have former Kentucky Wildcats on their roster usually perform well as a team. And we got 3 of them on here, and I was disappointed that we didn't get to see any one of them last night, especially after seeing the videos of Diallo working out over the summer. I mean, he put in a lot of work over the summer as well as some of the other players. One bright spot from last night also, and I'm going to get back to this roster, was Killian Hayes' maturity level. He's playing with a chip on his shoulder, and I like what I see. If he gets more time on the court, he could be dangerous. And, all those naysayers and fans that wanted him out, he's trying to prove that he belongs. So kudos to him. But anyway, moving on to the roster, we have Kevin Knox II, Killian Hayes, Diallo, Jalen Duren, Marvin Bagley III, Isaiah Livers. Still seeing where he's going to fit in this equation. Aaron Gordon, Bones Highland, David Roddy, Xavier Tillman, Caleb Houston, and Wendell Carter Jr. That's what this 15-man roster would look like for me. Starters would be Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren, Aaron Gordon, Bones Highland, and Marvin Bagley III. And like I said, hopefully Marvin Bagley III gets it together. If not, you got Wendell Carter Jr. and Xavier Tillman that could fill that position as far as the center is concerned. And you also have Nerlens Noel as well there. So, yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section with this. Back to the Nuggets. I forgot. The Denver Nuggets would also have Kemba Walker coming off the bench with the addition of Cade Cunningham. But let me know what you think. But like I said, if last night is any indication of what we're going to get this upcoming season, we don't want it. We don't want it. We want to see something totally different, and we all deserve that. We waited and waited and waited, and like I said, we need to start possibly looking at, starting at the top. And if anything, we start at the top, bring in a new coaching staff. I'm not, put it this way: if you got it, you got it. If you don't, you don't. And I think we need to put a new face as the head coach. See what they can get for us, going through the beginning of the season, and make adjustments if necessary. If some guys don't turn it on, and mature to the next level as far as their game is concerned, then maybe we need to look at making some moves and shipping them out. Like I said all the time in my videos, I'm not one for dogging guys. I'm not sending you to a cellar dweller, in a trade. I'm sending you somewhere where you can contribute and the team is on the rise. So, like I said, I know I'm going to catch some flack for the Cade Cunningham and Sadiq Bey trade proposals, but hey, it is what it is. That's my opinion, and like I said, judging by the body language last night, they just wasn't there. A lot of them are there. So, maybe they'll make me eat my words and come out strong in the second preseason game.